friends, let's talk about univalves. If you watched the last video, you know that there are two types of creatures in the mollusk family. Mollusks are creatures that have soft bodies and shells. We already learned about bivalves that have two shells, and in this video we're going to talk about univalves. That's mollusks with one shell. The first bivalve we're going to talk about is called a limpet. A limpet is kind of a cone-shaped shell, like it's a little bit smushed down cone, and it has that soft body inside that helps it stick to the rocks with the foot. So this is the top of the shell. And some of the limpets are called keyhole limpets, and they have this little hole in the top. But most limpets are a cone shape with no hole in the top. This is the bottom of the limpet that shows its foot underneath. The foot helps the limpet move around across the rocks and to hold on very tightly so that the waves and other creatures that might want to eat the limpet can't pull it away. The limpet has this big foot that you just saw in the last picture, but it also has a head that comes out. It has two long tentacles with eyes on top. And it lives on the rocks, so it holds on really tightly with that foot and slides slowly across the rocks. In the last video, we talked about plankton, those tiny, tiny little plants and animals that live in just one drop of water, or that fit in just one drop of water. This is when we zoom in with a microscope and take pictures what they look like. And the limpet also eats plankton. Many limpets are colored to blend in with the rocks. So if you go and visit a tide pool, you'll want to walk slowly and carefully and look really closely, because I think you'll find that limpets are living on lots of rocks in the tide zones. Our next univalve is a sea snail. Now you might find snails in your neighborhood, but this is a kind of snail that needs to live near the seawater, and it can live underwater or in the tide pools where it stays nice and moist. This is showing the foot of the sea snail that it uses to slide along, very similar to the limpet. And it also has that head with the two eye stalks that come out with the eyes on top. The third member of the univalve family that we'll talk about is called a chitin. Now, these guys are a little bit tricky because they do have one shell, but it's actually made up of many parts that fit together so that the body can bend and flex without breaking. This is the foot of that chitin that helps it move along, and it uses gills, similar to some of the bivalves we've learned about, to filter in its food and pull the plankton and algae that it wants to eat out of the seawater. And it just has one foot, not like you. Chitin cling to the rocks. They hold on really tightly because they don't want to be washed away by the waves or eaten by other creatures. And chitin eat more algae, which is this green goopy stuff on the water here. So they slide along the rocks and they just kind of use their gills and filter it out and eat it as they go. And again, they push out the extra water and waste. There's a great picture of those 8 plates that bend and flex as the chitin slides along. Chitin can also change shape. Maybe you've seen a roly-poly or a potato bug, depends on what you call them. Maybe you've seen those. That's what this reminds me of. They can curl up to protect themselves with their soft body so that they won't be eaten. Chitin also have some hair-like spikes on the bottom of their shell. This protects that soft body. So today we learned that univalves are part of the mollusk family, but they have one shell. So on your paper this week that has a picture of a chitin a limpet, and a sea snail, choose your favorite univalve and tell us something interesting about it.